In the last episode of the Ajax Career Mode, we had two key squad departures, Onana to Chelsea and Tagliafico to Real Madrid. We brought in Vlachodimos, Schultz, and Bernabei to improve our squad depth. We continued our dominance in the Eredivisie, winning our opening match of the season, and in the Champions League, we again finished second in our group. Hey, what's going on everyone? Flick here. Welcome back to another episode of our FIFA 21 Ajax Career Mode. We're moving right along with this series, already up to episode 4, where we'll be completing the second half of season 2. And similar to last season, we find ourselves top of the Eredivisie, still going strong in the League Cup, and also through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. After a less than stellar start to the season and a few rumors coming up in the comments section that Tadic may be on his way out of our starting 11, we're likely looking to bring in a striker during the January transfer window. It's important to remember that we still have Traore as a striker option. He might not be the highest overall player, but I think he's proven that especially in Eredivisie matches, he can contribute a lot of goals. I'm still not entirely sure what that means for us. We'll have to see how Traore develops for the rest of season 2, but ideally I would like him to be a big part of our squad plans for season 3. Again, I want to give a massive thanks for all the feedback given on the Ajax Career Mode so far. If you want to help support the series, consider leaving a like on the video. We have a goal of hitting 30,000 subscribers by the end of 2020, so if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so. It's free to do so, and it's the best way to get notified when these new episodes go live. Going into the second half of the season, I wanted to shine some light on the squad and also talk about my reasoning for the transfers we made over the summer. The main one being the Vlachodimos transfer. Onana left the club for Chelsea. I think that was personally quite a realistic transfer, and it's also a way to keep this career mode balanced. I don't want this Ajax squad to reach too high of an overall so quickly. The thing with them is that since they have so many high potential players, we can really choose from so many options in the starting 11 and even the substitutes. By letting Onana leave, hopefully we can have some other players emerge in the club, and I'm happy with how Vlachodimos has progressed so far. The thing with goalkeepers in FIFA 21 Career Mode, if they perform fairly well, their overall will go up. It really doesn't matter that his age is a bit older at 27. He's already gone up +2, and I'm hoping he can go up +3 or +4 by the end of the season. While we're on the topic of older players, I think we may as well discuss the remaining 4 veterans in our squad, starting with our center defensive mid pairing of Klaassen and Blind. And they have both performed fairly well in this second season, not declining in their rating. In fact, Klaassen has actually gone up +2 in his rating. And while he doesn't have the highest ceiling, I still want him to be in the starting 11 at least for season 2. So I think moving forward, we will look to sign another center midfielder. We do, of course, have Gravenberch, but I see him being the eventual successor to Blind. So I'd like to add another strong center midfielder into the squad. And then moving forward to our attackers, we have Tadic, who definitely hasn't had as good of a season as he had in season 1. It's tough to maintain those sort of numbers, but with Traore still growing at a very slow pace, we're definitely looking to sign another striker in this transfer window. And then finally, for Promise, I've seen a lot of comments asking me to feature Antony more often, but again, I'm going to reiterate that I like the fact we have right-footed players playing on the left, left-footed players playing on the right. And to be honest, Promise isn't even in his prime yet. 29 years old, I found players hit their max rating at about 30, so we may even see his overall go up. I totally get it, Antony has loads of potential, but we will feature him plenty as a substitute and the occasional start. And then moving forward into season 3, we may look to incorporate Antony into the starting 11. And as far as our budget goes, even after making numerous signings in the summer, we still have 150 million to work with, which means we may look to move away a little bit from the realism in season 3. If y'all want to see some high potential former Ajax players join the club in season 3, let me know in the comment section. And to get that ball rolling, we will look to sign a former Ajax player, Luis Suarez. He is, of course, at Atletico Madrid. Unfortunately, we were not able to pick him up on a pre-contract deal. The CPU and AI are a bit better about renewing player contracts, but we were still able to make this signing on a reasonable transfer fee, not too much more than his market value, finalizing the deal at 34.8 million. He agreed to a crucial first team role on a 3-year deal worth 52 grand a week. And the reason I decided to make this signing now is because he is starting to get older, and that means he will be considering retirement in the near future. If we want to feature Suarez at all in this career mode, I think now is definitely the best time to sign him. Wherever possible, I have been trying to sign talents from other Eredivisie squads, and Boadu was a heavily suggested player in the first episode of this career mode. He actually has an interesting background with Ajax. When he was 12, he trialed for the club, and that didn't go so successfully. Instead, he joined AZ, and then a few years later, when he was 15, Ajax again approached him, but this time around, he turned them down, and now he has kind of emerged as a star for AZ, generating some interest from other European clubs. I'm surprised to see that he's still at AZ in this second season. Other Dutch strikers from the Eredivisie like Malen have since moved over to Manchester City. But for realism purposes, I don't think this will be a good signing for us. Just sticking with the storyline that he won't be looking to move back to Ajax here in the near future. Maybe that'll change, but for this career mode, we won't be looking to sign Boadu. However, Heerenveen seem to have a lot of promising talents. We did, of course, sign Van Bergen from them in Season 1, and Joey Veerman has developed really nicely in this career mode, already achieving an overall of 80. I think this is the perfect player to be a long-term replacement for Klaassen. Right now, he has the lower overall, but I think by the time Season 3 rolls around, we'll be looking to start Veerman over Klaassen. This signing was completed for 40 million on an important squad role, a 4-year deal worth 25 grand a week. We are still receiving offers for some of the players in our starting 11, and I'd say David Neres has received the most offers out of anyone. It's really unfortunate that this swap deal from PSG came now and not in the summer, because I think if I would have received it earlier, Zinchenko would have been a perfect replacement option at the left back position for Tagliafico. But because we brought in Schultz, we'll have to pass on that deal and instead transfer list a couple of other players. First off, Alvarez hasn't really featured much in this career mode. I'm just not getting on with him very well. There are some rumors that he may join Manchester City in the future, so I'm okay with letting him leave the club. And as far as Maren goes, he is currently on loan for Ajax, but that deal has an option for the club to bring him in on a permanent basis. So with that in mind, we will let him depart for Leicester for 20 million. As we look to continue developing our youth academy and slowly making signings into our first team, we'll set up 3 new scouting networks as per usual. A network in the Netherlands for 6 months looking for any type of player. Our second network now in Finland looking for an attacker. This is on the basis of potentially finding the next Jari Litmanen. And finally, we'll be setting up a network in South Africa for 6 months looking for any type of player. Ajax have ties to a club in Cape Town, so hopefully we can get some good talents from there. We did have one promotion from our youth academy in the last episode. Matu Leblanc is a left back from Belgium, but his stats are perfect to be a center back, and that was definitely inferred by the overall increase that he received by using that development plan. But with the couple of signings we made, this will be the Ajax squad that we'll use going into the second half of Season 2. The most notable change is that Suarez is now featuring as our starting striker. He has the higher overall, and Tadic will still feature in a good number of matches as a substitute. But this is going to be a big episode as far as the gameplay goes. I think we had a very successful Season 1, but I want to continue making improvements, especially in the Champions League, meaning that we're looking to get past the semi-final. Maybe we can reach the final for this season. We'll pick up on things right away in the Champions League, matching up against PSG in the round of 16. They play a very attacking formation with the 4-2-4. Of course, they've got some world-class players like Mbappe and Neymar, but they also have made a number of signings, most notably Upamecano at the center back position. And the quality of their side was clearly demonstrated in our home match simulation, losing 2-0, which could have been even worse had Mbappe converted both of his penalties. With that said, our Ajax squad has the quality to score at least 2 away goals, so we weren't completely out of this one. This initial highlight will showcase what we do best in this Ajax squad, working things from one side to the other, and it's Schultz getting involved from the left back position, sending in the perfect cross to Quincy Promes, continuing his goal scoring form from the last episode. If there's one thing we had to do if we wanted to get back into this tie, it was score an early away goal. And now things are going to be an entirely different ball game as we look to get the equalizer here and bring things level on aggregate. It's Blind finding Klaassen, spotting out the run from Kudus, and he will also finish this one in style. We know Kudus has a knack for getting in goal scoring opportunities. It's just his finishing that has been a bit inconsistent at times, but I was glad to see him step up to the occasion in this case. With PSG losing some notable defenders like Thiago Silva to Chelsea and even Marquinhos in this save, it was clear they were susceptible from the back, and it is Luis Suarez to score his first and probably the best goal that he will score as an Ajax player. You just cannot give this player that much space around the 18-yard box. He's only going to make you pay, and hopefully more goals will follow for Suarez during his time at Amsterdam. With us now being in the driver's seat, it's PSG that tried to get back involved in this match. Di Maria from the right-hand side, playing across into Mbappe. He'll create a bit of space, eventually playing the through ball to Gabriel Jesus, another new signing for them. That will bring the match level on aggregate, but of course with us scoring 3 away goals, we do still have the advantage. With everything to play for in the second half, it'll be absolutely crucial that we remain defensively sound like we have all season. Kicking off the highlights in the 54th minute, it's Kudus to play the ball out wide to Mazraoui. receiving the ensuing through ball, but it is a strong defensive stop from Jen from PSG. Clearly, they received a manager talk at halftime, trying to perform better defensively. But on the following corner kick, it's promised to load this up with full power, and guess who? It's Suarez. We don't score a lot of header goals in this career mode, and definitely not on set pieces like corner kicks, but it seems like the Uruguayan striker has justified his transfer fee, as this chance will mean that PSG will need to score 2 additional goals if they want to win this fixture. With just 25 minutes left to play, we'll look to close out this match. Again, it's Maserati from this right-hand side, sending it across to the onlooking attacker. I believe that was Promes who had a shot deflected, and another opportunity for Kudus to put us ahead by even more, but another chance stopped by Keylor Navas. Now it's Suarez holding up the play, eventually playing this pass to Kalpers, and it is one of our new signings, Verman, who will score our 5th goal on the day, making things 3-5 on aggregate. I knew going into this match that there was always going to be a sense of hope. As a result of our performances last season, we now have experience in the Champions League, and we know what we need to do if we want to reach the later stages of this competition. But this has to go up there with one of the better matches that I've played in FIFA 21 career mode so far. An amazing comeback, as we fully deserve to advance to the quarterfinals. As if our last challenge was not enough, we have to play against the very team that knocked us out of the Champions League last year in the semi-final, FC Bayern. But honestly, I think we're ready for Bayern this time. We've made some new additions to the team, and we're also in great form coming off of the victory against PSG. Again, we simulated the home leg, and it resulted in a 1-1 draw. I'll take that result because it means all we need to do is get a result away from home. We'll start the highlights with some quick build-up play. Schultz finding Promes over to Suarez. A beautiful back heel to set up Kudus. Unfortunately, the timing was just wrong for Neres, as this was called back for offside, but we'll continue the momentum. It's Schultz from the left-hand side, cutting in and finding Suarez, trying to replicate what he did against PSG. Unfortunately, this one sailed over the crossbar. But a good sign of things to come, because last time we struggled to create chances against Bayern. It's the 29th minute now, as Suarez will again play this ball inside to Klaassen, who plays through Kudus, and I think the fact that he's been so inconsistent for us in front of goal this season made me play the ball out wide to Promes. I expected him to get this effort on target. With how consistent he's been for us this season, he's exactly the type of player I want in front of goal, but we'll have to move on and keep making big defensive stops like that one from Shores. It's Bayern who all of a sudden seem to have the momentum. Lewandowski playing through Sane. We were very lucky that that was a tame effort. The second half was certainly an end-to-end match, as it's Schulz and Promes who on this left-hand side will create another chance, except this one too is off target. I know Schultz is a fullback, but he still needs to put these chances away. If you want to beat teams like Bayern, you need to make the most of every single goal scoring opportunity you have. Otherwise, they will punish you, as Conte puts Bayern ahead on the day and on aggregate. Still 22 minutes left in this one, but I was starting to get flashbacks of last year's semi-final against Bayern. They left it pretty late to go ahead, but as soon as they got their goal, they were tough to break down. We will switch over to some constant pressure tactics though and see if that'll make the difference. It's a corner kick for Bayern in the 83rd minute, finding the cross to Hernandez, but what a stop that was from Vlachodimos. And we will manage to get this effort cleared. It's Promes with some space in front of him. We'll take a couple of heavy touches and look to outrun these Bayern defenders. They were caught napping, and it's a one-on-one chance for Promes. He'll look to go solo on this one, blocked by Neuer, but it is put away by Kudus. It may have been an empty net, but you still need to be in the right place at the right time to put that chance away. And I was proud of Kudus to step up again in a big match like this. But this match was far from over. Essentially, if either team scores this late on, they will likely go on to win the entire fixture, as Maserati from this right-hand side will look to play the pass in, but it is stopped initially by Bayern. That will create some space as the defenders were dragged out. Klaassen looks to cross this in, and it's Dusan Tadic to give us the go-ahead goal. What a player he has been for us so far in this series, and despite Suarez now playing ahead of him in our starting 11, I know I can still rely on him for goals. And his positioning here was perfect. He really had to stretch out to put this effort on target, but he redirected the ball towards goal and directed us towards the semi-final of the Champions League in back-to-back seasons. Before we can continue with the drama that is taking place in the Champions League, we do have to turn our attention back to the league. We played against Heracles Heracles to begin our Eredivisie season, and this match, regardless of result, will result in the trophy celebration. And while we don't have a lot to play for in terms of the league title, we do still have a chance of going unbeaten in the league, so I think that is worth noting. Considering that we want to rest our first choice starting 11 for the Champions League, this will be another opportunity for our rotational players to step up, perform, and try to impress me and make their way into the starting 11 next year. Even with us beating Heracles earlier this season, we know from last year that these award ceremony matches are not a given, and we don't want our opponents to rain on our parade. It's Antony who breaks away and will open up the scoring in the 12th minute. He's been a fan favorite for you all, and depending on Neres' future in this Ajax squad, he may have a starting 11 role next year. It is a good thing that we have squad depth at every position, because I feel like any player could leave our squad on any given transfer window. With us trying to make realistic signings and transfers in this career mode, it will result in some turnover, but Heracles managed to find the equalizer off a very interesting goal there in the 18th minute. Couple of animations just turning the defender and finding the open space. Although Suarez and Tadic have received the majority of the spotlight in this episode, we still have Lucina Traore netting goals from time to time, especially in the Eredivisie. I wish we could see the striker at his peak potential. Unfortunately, due to the 3 seasons timeline, we're a bit limited, but I do still think the future is bright for him. He's steadily gone up in his overall over the course of this career mode, and I think he'll certainly play a role for us in Season 3. Unfortunately, we're not able to increase our lead here after a couple of defensive heroics from the Heracles team, but it's Van Bergen. We know how pacey he is, and he basically runs through the entire defense here, slots it away to the far post. And even as Promes gets older, we'll see more Van Bergen in Season 3. I felt pretty confident at this point that we weren't going to concede 2 more goals, but we're trying to give the home fans a show here as Antony plays the ball inside to Traore. He will get his brace in the 57th minute. And despite being on a hat trick, we will make a substitution and give Huntelaar some playtime in what will be his final match in this career mode. He's retiring at the end of the season, and in typical Huntelaar fashion, he will bulldoze through this poor Heracles defender, ends up hitting the post, but he does get the rebound and will get on the score sheet in his final match as an Ajax player. But still very much a notable player for his career at Ajax. I am happy that we were able to win this match in a fairly simple fashion, and even having a couple of jokes along the way. Champions League has definitely received more of an emphasis in this career mode series, but I can't take the Eredivisie lightly. Although we have won in back-to-back seasons, I still feel like there's some competition between the top 4. But I think our objective for the remainder of this series is to try to win the league title in 3 consecutive seasons, and then hopefully add some other trophies like the Champions League or even the League Cup. Our semi-final fixture in the Champions League will feature an opponent that we haven't yet played, Real Madrid. They have built a pretty solid squad, actually bringing in Marquinhos from one of the opponents we had earlier in the episode, PSG. You'll also notice a pretty impressive midfield of Pogba, Cruz, and Casemiro, but unfortunately, no sign of Tagliafico, as it looks like Mendy still has the starting left back role. Our home simulation did result in a win this time, giving us a 1-0 aggregate lead going to the Stadio Bernabeu. Even though we're playing a good Real Madrid team, I probably felt better about this match than any other one that we played in the knockout stage. We already came back from a 2-0 deficit away from home, and we also beat the team that knocked us out of the Champions League last season, so Real Madrid are just another club on our path here to the final. It's Quincy Promes to open up the scoring in one of the best ways possible. Those of you that watched the Southampton career mode prior to this series know that I like my rainbow flicks, and we got one here. And considering that Real Madrid failed to score an away goal, this was a key moment in the match. It's Promes again from the left-hand side, using a fake shot to get away from Dumfries, and now Suarez. Some quick passing play will set up Klaassen, saved fairly well by Courtois. And I would say that Suarez has been more of a distributor than a finisher, as he will score a goal there. It's one of the many reasons that I like our Ajax tactics. We don't purely rely on one player to net goals. We're incorporating total football wherever possible, and that means anyone on the pitch can contribute. With how well this match started, I felt like Real Madrid didn't stand a chance, but they're going to slowly find their way back into this match. Again, it's a good turn by the CPU here there, as Hazard will open up the scoring for Real Madrid. Obviously, Madrid will have to put in quite the performance if they want to find themselves advancing, having to score 4 on the day and not allow us to get another away goal here. 4 minutes later, practically right after kickoff, it is going to be Pogba distributing the ball to Rodrigo from the right side opposite of Hazard. He's going to sell our defender and bury this chance on the near post. We did make some substitutions though in the later stages of the match. Tadic coming on, and for whatever reason, the Real Madrid defender was not closing us down, so we just let Kudus run into space, and similar to many goals that he scored this season, we'll fire the chance on the far post, and that will be the final highlight of this match. Again, probably the easiest knockout stage match that we played so far, but that will give us a lot of confidence going into the final. Knowing that we can score goals, we just need to put in a strong defensive display to accompany that. It was either going to be Liverpool or Manchester City who we face in the final of the Champions League. Both teams we played in this career mode, but I was kind of happy that it was Liverpool that advanced because we haven't matched up against them since last season. It doesn't look like they've changed their starting 11 all that much since season 1. Maybe the only changes are that Oxlade-Chamberlain is featuring in the midfield, and I'm not sure if Jimenez was already signed last year. But I feel like so much was leading up to this match. I set a target at the beginning of this career mode that we would attempt to win Champions League by the end of the 3 seasons. We've exceeded our board expectations so far, and now we even have an opportunity to exceed my own expectations for the save. And considering that cup finals, especially European competition finals like the Champions League, is something that I have struggled with so far in FIFA 21. There was definitely something to prove in this match as we try to bring home a European trophy for Ajax. Judging off our results in this episode, I think it's fair to assume that there will be some goals scored in this Champions League final. Unfortunately, we are unable to open up the scoring with Kudus as he drags that effort wide. Now it's Mane for Liverpool on the left. We'll try to send this ball across. Bit surprised that did not result in a goal either. It'll be the build-up play between our midfielders that make the difference here, as Suarez will set up Promes. It has taken no time for those two players to build chemistry and create goal scoring chances as our most reliable player from season 2 opens up the scoring for us. It's Alexander-Arnold joining the attack and trying to create something for the Reds, but it's Blind who dispossesses him, and as a result, it's going to be a 3-on-2 chance. Promes leading the charge and dribbling this into the box. Eventually tries to square this over to Suarez, and I'm not sure how this resulted in a goal. To be fair, Suarez is always going to fight to win back possession for us and obviously has amazing finishing inside the box. But regardless, I was still surprised by this one. However, as we saw last season against Bayern, a 2-0 lead does not necessarily guarantee a victory, as Liverpool will create some chances of their own. We do manage to bring a stop to them and look to get on the break here as Blind will play Kudus through. Liverpool were sending a lot of their defenders forward, trying to get back into this match as we move forward to the second half. This was an amazing cross and nearly an incredible goal from Neres. He fully stretched out, and that would have been a contender for goal of the season. But this is what I mean by how quickly things can change. We go from nearly increasing our lead to 3 goals to losing possession in our final third. A couple of passes working out for Liverpool, and Mo Salah cutting Liverpool's deficit in half. Now all of a sudden we need to structure our attack knowing that Liverpool need just one more goal to draw things level. While I try not to let the scoreline affect our play style, it definitely does in some ways. The build up to this next chance left me probably more disappointed than I've been this entire season. I'm not sure how this header found its way into the back of the net. From that sort of angle, you expect the goalkeeper to make a save, and I certainly didn't predict Mo Salah to equalize in that sort of fashion. Fabinho will pull off the best pass so far in this match, as Salah on a hat trick will just try to keep this ball in play, lofting it across to the far post. We luck out here as Mane's effort does fall wide. Now it's Kudus, an opportunity to put us ahead in this one. It's Alisson closing down the space, and some hectic scrambles in the box will result in a penalty kick. I'm not sure of the decision behind this pen. To be honest, I wish Neres had just put the chance away. Unfortunately, that was blocked, but still an opportunity for us to go ahead with just about 12 minutes left in this one. It's Dusan Tadic stepping up to the spot. Our captain from season 1 is even wearing the captain's armband. Historically, I don't think we've even missed from the spot so far in this career mode, but Alisson is one of the best goalkeepers in FIFA 21, and he makes a good save. I was pretty gutted after that. I felt like the game was going against us in some ways. The goals that Liverpool scored were questionable. For that penalty kick to be saved, it just seemed like things were not meant to be. Even an opportunity here in the 90th minute was cleared away, only for it to fall back to Klaassen, now to Tadic, and eventually over to Promes, but again, saved by Alisson. He kept Liverpool in this match, as this will go into extra time. I feel like the brief pause in play is exactly what we needed, as It's going to be Antony from the right, another substitute that was brought on, playing the pass to Kudus, and somehow this also falls wide. 9 times out of 10 we're scoring from this sort of chance creation, but it just was not happening here, as finally it's a veteran in Klaassen who will put us ahead once again. This goes to show how important it is to have veteran players along with high potential young players in the squad. That goal seemed to ease the tension as we will continue pushing on. It's Klaassen playing through Antony, some good passing play, and Kudus will get his goal. Making up for his earlier miss, he will double our lead, and with just 15 minutes or so left to play, all we had to do was hang on. But if another opportunity comes up to get us a 5th, why not, as it's going to be Tadic coming to a stop, getting it on his right foot, and scoring what I think is the best goal of the match. Output-wise, he didn't contribute quite as much as Season 1, but in terms of the quality of goals, Tadic still ranks up there. It truly has been quite the season, going from a 2nd place finish in our group, just narrowly missing out on finishing top of the group to Manchester City, to then go on and come back in multiple matches for the knockout stages, and even defeat opponents that have gotten the better of us in the past, like Bayern and Liverpool at times. I know this European trophy will mean a lot to you Ajax supporters. There have obviously been some historic Ajax squads in the past, and it's amazing that we were able to lift this cup with players in the squad that have played for Ajax at different stages in their career, the likes of Suarez, Klaassen, and Blind. I'm not sure what this means for Season 3. There is not much more we can win in terms of European success, but we can always look to go back-to-back, similar to what we did this season in the Eredivisie, and even look to win the treble next season. But I'm definitely open to taking your feedback on board. If you have any ideas for Season 3, feel free to leave that in the comment section. This Ajax squad that we've developed will go down in the history books, managing to complete the entire Eredivisie season without a loss. This accomplishment is pretty rare, but it has actually been done before by another Ajax team. The 94-95 squad also went undefeated. We ended up separating ourselves at the top pretty easy-handedly, but it was Feyenoord that finished 2nd, PSV in 3rd, and AZ in 4th. As far as the bottom end of the table goes, you have to assume that Robin may have retired because Groningen struggled this year, along with Waalwijk and Den Haag finishing in the bottom 3. Kudus ended up being a rising star for us in Season 2, finishing as the top scorer for the club. 24 goals from him across 48 matches, and another consistent performance from Klaassen as he netted 21 from 52. Prom is rounding out the top 3 for top scores with 16 goals from 40. Once again, appearances from Klaassen and Kudus for the assist category. Klaassen led the way with 16 assists from 52 matches, Kudus in 2nd with 11 from 48, and Tadic rounding out the top 3 with 10 assists from 46. We'll feature 2 of our own Youth Academy players for the top growth. Keep in mind that Leblanc got an increase in his overall because of the position change, but he still did have the most growth over the course of the season, going up +6. Our homegrown talent, Kalpers, was in 2nd with a +3 growth, and Kenneth Taylor, who featured a little bit in Season 1, went on loan this year, and he also went up +3 in his overall. Unfortunately, we were just short of finishing as a top scorer in the Eredivisie. Klaassen was in 2nd with 19 goals from 32 matches. Kudus all the way in 7th with 14 from 30. So clearly he ended up netting more goals across Champions League and also in the League Cup. It's back-to-back seasons for Goetze as the top assist player in the Eredivisie. Maybe he's someone that we look to bring in for this career mode, signing him from a rival club. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. But quite a few appearances for us in the top 15. Klaassen in 3rd with 8 assists from 32. Tadic in 4th with 7 assists from 29. And finally, we had Schultz with 5 assists from 30. We did, however, have the most clean sheets in the league. Vlachodimos with 19 clean sheets across 33 matches. I don't think I'll be making a change to his goalkeeper gloves. I quite like the ones he's using, and they already have a nice yellow tint. Just like last season, we fell just short in the Oranje Beker, losing in the semi-final to Willem II on penalties. I think that is the competition that I'll be taking more seriously next year because it's really the last trophy we need to win. PSV did go on to win this competition. And then Champions League, of course, we did win the final 5-2 over Liverpool. What a match that was. It was Manchester United that won the Europa League over Lyon. We will see another promotion from our youth academy to round out Season 2. This will be Donnie Vandenbosch. This was the young player that kind of has his potential glitched. It's really a shame that's the case because from a 16-year-old with 68 overall, you would expect him to have amazing potential. We might still feature him though. Maybe we'll send him on a short loan just to see if his overall goes up a bit, because right now he doesn't quite make the cut to feature in our starting 11 and substitutes. But the rest of our youth academy is still looking very promising. We have a total of 4 more countries that we can scout out. So if you have any suggestions for the final 2 episodes of this series, please leave that in the comment section. As we take a look at the top growth, you'll see a total of 4 players declining in their stats. 2 of them actually will be retiring at the end of the season, that being Huntelaar, who we kind of talked about earlier, and also Stecklenburg. I want to shout out them for all the contributions they've made to Ajax over the course of their career. Whether it be now or in the earlier stages, it's amazing to see so many players return back to Ajax to round out their playing career. But of course, we have a lot more to look forward to moving into the future. So many players going up in their overall, and I think we'll see a bit of a change to our squad selection for season 3. Board objectives wise, we could have done better, but ultimately you can't complain when you win the Champions League final. Starting with youth development, we did manage to sign 2 players to our youth academy in the defender position. That was last season, and we unfortunately missed the long-term objective. For brand exposure, we did complete half of that, getting 10 games without a defeat in home matches this season. Financially, we pretty easily made 2 crucial first team signings and also maintained a good profit margin. Domestically, we won the league but did not win the cup. And then of course for Champions League, we continue to do very well there as far as our objectives go. You've got to expect that the board will want us to repeat in the Champions League again next season. I want to give a big thanks to channel members for supporting the channel and helping me bring out these episodes on a consistent basis. But more or less, this is going to be the squad selection for season 3. I think there are a few different ways that we can take this career mode. We can either stick with the realistic transfers and be a bit more conservative with our signings, or we can just go all out and try to build the best Ajax squad possible and repeat in the Champions League. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But if you have enjoyed this episode of the Ajax Career Mode, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to y'all again soon.